Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Plays channel. This video is probably going to come out at a very weird time. It's definitely being recorded at a very weird time. But this is something I felt like I wanted to do right away while it's still relevant, hip, happening. I just wanted to bring your attention to a post on the Gwent subreddit called My Balance Proposal by the user CV, like CVanair or CVanair, or I don't know how to say it, but the name's right there. So this is a post that I've been paying attention to, following for a few hours. I was posted 6 hours ago, but I haven't been following it that long. I'm not going to read the whole post, but I will have posted it down below, a link to it. Basically what I want to do is bring the discussion from this post, open up this discussion here in a video on my channel, because to be honest, the audience here seems to be a lot friendlier and a lot more open to healthy, mature discussions than some people on Reddit. And I enjoyed this post. I don't agree with everything, but I mean, there's a lot here, so disagreeing with some points, it's perfectly fine. But overall, I did find this post very, very interesting. I agree with a lot of the proposed balance changes. And there are some reworks as well, and, like the rework designs are cool. I'm not sure I would want them, but the cards that have been reworked in this post by this user are cards that I do feel need to be reworked and changed, so I'm just happy to see some suggestions. So I'm just going to read this introduction. These are, in my opinion, the changes needed to balance the meta. The main goal is removing artifact removal and making the Radaya mid-range meta less oppressive. Of course, there's more cards that need buffs and reworks. So, they made it clear that they didn't cover every card. They made it clear this is their opinion. And they even stated the goal, which, we all know artifact removal is a problem. And, the Radaya mid-range meta it's kind of annoying. Like, Radaya is a cool card, but it is very strong. And I think a lot of decks just, like, the singleton condition is not that demanding in Gwent anymore, so it's not like, oh, you're sacrificing so much to have a slightly stronger card. You're not. I really don't feel like you are, and therefore Radaya is just a really, really strong card that a lot of decks have just started putting in because it's good stuff. You play good stuff decks, you put Radaya in there, and it's simple as that. So, what the user did, they have neutral in every faction, and some supposed changes. Again, I won't go over all of them, but I want to highlight a few. For example, all the artifact removal cards: Bomb Heaver, Dimeridan Bomb, Frenzied Dow, Iris, Vivian Oriole. All of these have been reworked or changed, which I think is good. I don't think that any of these cards are healthy in their current state. They're way too binary. Heatwave I don't agree with changing. I think Heatwave is a good example of how artifact removal can still exist in the game because it's so expensive. And you have a choice, right? Like, you can remove their artifact if they play a scenario, and you feel like removing that scenario, it's the best value for your Heatwave, you can do that. But if you play against a deck that doesn't run artifacts, you still get value from it. That's a solution to this binary situation. And it works on special cards and not on units. Because a unit, if you get a body on the board and remove an artifact, that is insanely strong. The opponent loses their card. It's the same as with removal on units, except, of course, removal in terms of damage and points, you can scale it. Like, we have 10 provision cards that are 4 strength and deal 4 damage. there's no dealing 4 damage to an artifact. There's either you destroy it or you don't. And you can't have that spread out on units across, 5, 6, 7, 8 provision slots. Like, all these slots have like units that destroy artifacts, leave decent bodies on the board. It's just too strong. And because of the nature of artifacts, unless they implement an armor system where artifacts have armor, each use costs some armor, and therefore if you don't have enough armor you can't use it more, stuff like that. Unless they do that, there's no increments of damaging an artifact. You either destroy it, and pure destruction, that is 9-10 provisions on a special card. It does nothing more than destroy the opponent's card or remove it. Yennefer's Invocation is a good example of this, and that can also be applied to artifacts or units. And something like Frenzied Dao, like, imagine 8 provisions, 6 points on your side, and you kill your opponent's scenario. How big is that? That is too big. But if the opponent doesn't have a scenario or an artifact, then you're just playing a 6 for 8. That's garbage. It's not as garbage as a dead Dimeritan Bomb, which is why this user has changed D-Bomb to purify an enemy unit and damage it by 3. That seems pretty fair. I mean, this is probably not the best rework. I don't think I would like this particular card in the game, this particular effect. But Dimeritan Bomb right now is not good. And it's not because a 4 provision special card can remove an artifact. It's probably a little bit cheap. That's also a thing. When it comes to pure destruction of a card, I don't think that should exist on a 4 provision card. They nerfed, like, the damage potential of 4 and 5 provision cards was nerfed because it was too strong to have too much removal power on such cheap cards. And like I said, unless they implement some armor, some form of numeric system that can, create a scale of damaging an artifact towards destruction or, protecting it. Unless they do that, it's either destroy or not destroy. And the difference is too big. Now, I did leave a comment on this post just talking about artifact removal and how I feel like it should exist. Heatwave and Invocation are fine. I also like Dancing Star, although I do think they should change it a little bit, because I think right now I feel like it's still a little bit too cheap. It costs 5 and you either destroy an artifact or damage a unit by 3. Imagine if it costs 6. 6 provisions to destroy a scenario or an Ale of the Ancestors early on seems fair. But if the opponent doesn't do that, let's scale it up to 4 damage and you still have decent removal. You paid a little bit extra for it, for the option, the alternative, the modular effect. But the card is not really dead, ever. It can be arguably better in some situations, but that's just part of the card's strength. So, yeah, but those are my thoughts on artifact removal. I know a lot of you who watch my videos agree with me, at least for the most part. And so another thing that I did want to bring up quickly is how this user has tackled scenarios. So they want to take artifact removal completely out of the game, which I don't think is correct. You should keep some of it in there, but I've already talked about that. Let's leave that dead. But in order to make up for this, they made the scenarios a little bit more expensive and gave them a cooldown of 1, which means there's no more triggering your entire scenario in 1 turn. There's no more triggering 2/3 of it in 1 turn. And an interesting point that they brought up was one of the ideas behind this was to make leaders who couldn't do this more playable. Because now there's an obvious preference. I mean, there's always been a preference for leaders that can play 2 cards in 1 turn, but now even more so, because any leader that can trigger these powerful scenarios in 1 turn will be preferred. And the leaders that can't do that, why even bother? So if we make the artifacts, the scenarios a little less risky to play, but also, you know, take away this aspect of triggering in 1 turn, then it could be played with other leaders. It could be just less binary of an interaction, I guess. That might not be the right wording for that, but I think you know what I mean. So I don't think you need to make them more expensive. Like I don't want to see cards at 15 provisions. Instead, I think maybe you should change something about the cards that the scenarios spawn to maybe tune them down a little bit, but you know, I like them. You know, I like the scenarios, and I don't want them to change too much. I just want them to be fair. You know, not extremely risky to play, but also not too oppressive to have played against you. And there are some other changes, like, you know, Madame Louisa, you know, having to stay on the board for the next tribute to be free. That's just something I've always thought. And then just you know, buffs to discard, stuff like that. But I wanted to bring this up because I've been reading these comments, and you know, stuff like I fell into coma halfway through reading these changes. What else? Your ideas are worse than the real problems we have. I don't think it's necessary to say something like that, because I think this user had a lot of good ideas. But yeah. And see here, all cards are not supposed to be the same power. Cards like Radaya that require special decks need to be a bit strong. It's just that, like, I agree with this statement, but I'm thinking more like the Call of Harmony, you know, the Scoia'tael ability. That has a hefty deck building requirement. But the ability you get from it is pretty good. I mean, Pincer Maneuver is just better without the restriction, but that's the problem with Pincer Maneuver and not with Call of Harmony. But like I mentioned earlier, Radaya, that condition doesn't matter anymore. That condition hasn't mattered for a long time. Maybe not put it down to 6 strength, maybe just 7 or whatever. I still think she would be pretty good. And this comment. So basically you're nerfing, making unplayable, anything that you don't like. Lol, okay. A lot of the cards and abilities that the original poster tried to balance out or change, a lot of them were cards that a lot of people, including myself, have issues with. And even the developers have said that they are working on, because they realize that it's a problem. And I just wanted to make this video because it started pissing me off to see comments like, never try to design a game, you're terrible at it. And then, you know, Sivanair or whatever is trying to be nice. Like, please explain why. I'm willing to have a conversation here, but if your response is that immature, it's pretty hard to do. I mean, that's true. They just wanted to start a discussion. And I'm hoping with this video that we can continue this discussion in a more mature, healthy way here on the channel. And Sivanair, Anare, if you're watching this, I liked your post. I loved a lot of your ideas. You had a lot of, you know, concepts, like a lot of the changes you wanted to try to implement with your custom balance patch. I agree with them. I like the direction you're going. I don't think you're terrible at designing a game, because I liked your post. And I hope that you maybe get some more good feedback in the comments of this video. So guys, aceholes, let's be cool, all right? I know you're cool. You're like the best people in the Gwent community. I've seen it. I've seen the best and the worst, and all the best is on my channel right now because you guys are amazing. You're so good at coming together and just discussing things and just having fun with it. You care about this game. You want this game to be healthy, fun, diverse. So I figured maybe you would enjoy this post and discussing it in the comments down below. I will participate in the discussions as much as I can because this is a topic that I am burning for. I really love the ideas of artifacts, especially the newer artifacts that they've come out with. I think they've gone a really good direction, but the artifact removal is just really ruining it and needs to be changed. And I know a lot of you agree. This video is really long, and I'm not going to edit it because I'm talking the whole time. So I'm just going to end it here. Link below to this post. Go read it, read through the changes. Let me know down below any thoughts you might have on the custom balance changes suggested by Kavanar. I'm not sure. If you're watching this, please let me know how your name is pronounced, because I'm really curious. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you didn't mind a video like this. I wanted to get this out there. This person is like really trying, and not all the comments are bad. There are other supportive comments, and you know, that's great. But there's so many stupid, ignorant comments and like unnecessary downvotes. And I know that that's how Reddit works. It's just unnecessary. Like the people playing Gwent, we're supposed to be a mature community, okay? And whenever people say that we are, I see so many people like commenting like, "Lol, mature, yeah, right." And there's definitely a part that isn't. But you guys watching this, you're the most mature, kind-hearted people in the entire Gwent community. And I am genuinely proud of you. I am. And I'm so grateful to have you guys watching my videos and not some of these people. But thank you for watching. Let me know down below any thoughts you might have on this. Go check out the post. Show them some love. Give them an upvote if you feel inclined. And I'll see you next week for more normal Gwent gameplay videos. I've got some awesome plans coming up. We're gonna have a good time. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you've done for me and for the community as a whole. And yeah, you're just great. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a good one.